Hey there, lunatics. Today we are going to take a basic crop farm and we are going to build a hanging gardens. Let's get started. If you're thinking of buying Hytale but haven't yet, please use my creator code MADHOUSE upon checkout. It helps to support the channel and I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time and your energy. These are all of the items that you are going to need. It is all largely done with sandstone, white sandstone, and a little bit of red sandstone. So you're going to need to make sure you mine as much of that as you can. But be sure to pause the video here and take screenshots of all of this information. Anything that I have 100 of right here, it's not an exact count. It's just I grabbed a whole bunch of these in creative mode, and it really depends on whether you have access to creative mode or not will determine if you have access to all of these things or not. Like everything here, I'm pretty sure is a creative mode only. So if you have creative mode, these are great additions. But if you don't have creative mode, then you can use any of these other flower types, any of these mosses, vines, ivies, etc. You can craft all of this at the farmer's workbench. So take a look at what's available to you. Also, I want to mention that at the time of this recording, I have decided to add layers of water next to each of the sections of crop. That's because we don't really know right now whether water next to crops actually waters the crops or not. With some updates, it works. With some updates, it doesn't. The devs have said in, I think, Discord that watering the crops with water next to the block is an unintended side effect and that it's not part of the gameplay. So we honestly don't really know right now, will water next to crop blocks water the crops or not? It's a little up in the air. So this farm is designed with the ability for both. I'm making it with the water, and if it turns out by the time early access ends or by the time you're watching this, that water has absolutely no effect on the crops next to it, then all you have to do is just fill in the water sections with more dirt and you have more room for your actual crop farm. So the first thing you're going to want to do is dig out 18 tiles by 16 tiles and create this kind of square. Now you are going to need to go beyond the 16 by 18 tiles just a little bit in a couple of areas. So give yourself a little bit of wiggle room on both sides. But once you've got this 16 by 18, then you've got the basic outline for 99% of this farm. Now, once you've got that first row of blocks dug out, you're going to want to dig out another whole row. So just go around in a circle and dig out every single block going around so that you have a gap of 2. And once you've got that gap of 2, do it again so that you have a total gap of 3 going in every single direction. Your farm should look like this with a gap of 3 tiles in every direction. And it should just have this middle section here that is 10 tiles long by 12 tiles wide. So then what we're going to do is you're going to skip the first one here and you're going to dig out all of the blocks in the second row. Then you're going to skip 2 and dig out another row. Skip 2 again, dig out another row. Skip 2 again and dig out your last row. Your farm should look like this now with 5 total sections here. 3 of them are double block wide, and then the last one on each edge is only a single block wide. Then go ahead and take your sandstone brick and you're going to fill in everything going around all of your dirt tiles. When you're done, everything should look like this with these gaps here going along the middle, but 3 tiles of sandstone brick going around the entire setup. Now at this point, we're going to want to fill in all of the water here. You don't need to fill in every single square, but just grab a bucket and you're going to want to fill in at least both sides as well as the middle. So if you have 3 buckets, that is probably ideal. When water being adjacent to crops works, this really is enough. Just having 3 sets of water with it kind of just overlapping in the middle is really all that you need. But if you want it to look a little nicer, you can fill in every single tile. Now, if we reach a point where water no longer matters, then you can just fill all of this in with dirt and have extra farmland. If you find yourself struggling to figure out which tile has the water in it and which doesn't, you'll notice that the grass kind of overlaps a little bit on water tiles where water actually is touching the grass. But right here, there's no water tile in this open spot. So the blocks are a little bit blockier and are less smooth. So if we put water in there, you can see that it fills out and becomes kind of obvious where the water is and where the water isn't. Next, grab your ornate sandstone block and place one down on each corner. Switch to the decorative sandstone block and then go up 2, and then switch back to the ornate block and go up 1 more for a total of 4 blocks. Then on the side that is 18 tiles long, you're going to go in, starting at the second block, you're going to go in 7 more blocks. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's number 7. You're going to place down one of your decorative blocks, and you'll know you're in the right spot because you'll be over one of the water tiles. Skip 2 tiles and place another decorative stone block. Then you're going to go up 3 more for a total of 4 on each side. Repeat this process on the opposite side. Next, grab your sandstone pillar base, and starting from these 2 middle pillars, you're going to go out 2 to the left, and on the third one, you place down your pillar base. You'll know you're in the right area because it'll be over the water again. And do it again on the other side, leaving a gap of 2 on both sides, and you should have a gap of 3 here between the edge and the pillar. Switch to the sandstone brick beam and place down 2 of the beams going up on both of your pillar bases. Switch back to the pillar base, and you're going to want to flip it so that the pillar base is upside down, and place that on the top as well. So it should look like this now. Repeat this process on the other side also. Next, switch over to your sandstone brick walls, and you're going to start placing those down in between the pillar and the ornate pillar that you've created. You're going to go 4 high on both sides and do it with both sections here. When completed, it should look like this. Now on the other side, we're actually going to go a little bit different. On the other side, you're going to use your white sandstone walls, and you're going to do the exact same thing that you did before. Only this time we have white sandstone instead of regular sandstone. And that'll look like so. Next, go ahead and grab your white ornate sandstone block, and we're going to climb up to the top of one of our corner pillars and place the sandstone block above your pillar base that is closest to you. And then just keep on bringing it over until you've also covered up the pillar that you're standing on. Repeat this process down the entire line, and you're basically going to create a little box shape going around both sides. When done, it should look like this. Next, switch over to your sandstone brick stairs, and we're going to go to the corner and place one set of stairs upside down on the corner edge, and do it again in the next corner edge. Come over to your entranceway area, which is what these pillars are, and do it again with the upside down stairs facing inward, creating this kind of pattern. Repeat the process on all of the corner pillars, as well as the middle pillars on the other side. Next, we're going to switch to our white sandstone pillar base, and standing in front of your doorway ornate wall that we've got here, we're going to place down a pillar base in front of each one. Then we're going to flip our pillar base upside down and do it again, placing them at the top on that 4th block. This should leave you a gap of 2 in the middle. Then switch to your white sandstone brick beams, orient them so that they're going vertically, and place them down. Repeat the process on the other side. All right, now you're going to want to grab your red sandstone roof, and we're going to put down 4 roof tiles right above the pillars over the entranceway. And then make sure that you rotate your edges for pieces 5 and 6 so that they turn into corner pieces. And then you're going to have this nice little roof overlay over the top here. Repeat that on the other side. And then you're going to take your sandstone slabs, which are the half blocks, and we're going to come over here to the side, and we're just going to place down 3 of those half blocks coming down, and 3 again on the inner side so that it's part of the stairs. Repeat this process on the other side. All right, next grab your sandstone brick and come up to the front of your building. Whichever side you decide is going to be the front, whether it is the one with the sandstone walls or the one with the white sandstone walls, it doesn't really matter because this is relatively symmetrical, but there are some slight differences. So pick which one is going to be your front and start there. I am choosing the white sandstone as my front. So you'll skip the first 2 tiles, and then you'll place the brick down on the 3rd tile, skip 1 tile, place the next brick down on the 5th one. Then you're going to skip 3 again, place down 1 brick, then skip 1, place down 1 brick. This should leave you with 3 tiles on the opposite side. Then just go ahead and fill in the pillars that you're essentially creating here. So you're going to place down 4 total stone brick blocks in each section, going all the way up to this white decorative spot. Repeat this process on the opposite side. Next, take your sandstone pillar blocks, place 1 down in between the 1 tile gap from your 2 little pillar walls here. Do it again in the other one. Flip your sandstone pillar so that it is upside down and do it again on the top. Then grab your brick beams and place them in the middle, creating this little pillar design. Repeat this process on the other side. Next, take your sandstone brick stairs, and up here in the top corner where we've got our pillars, you're going to want to rotate and place an upside down sandstone stair to give yourself this little pattern here on the top. Repeat that process on all of your blocks on this side until you have got this layout here. It should take you a total of 4 sets of stairs to complete this. Repeat the process on the other side as well. Next, on the side that you have designated your front, you're going to come over to the side section, and there should be a gap of 2 right here in the front area of it, and it should be on both sides. Go ahead and place down some chests here. Now, I am using these wind temple chests, but you can use any chest that you want, whatever you have available to you. These just kind of match thematically. And then place 3 large sets of chests stacked on top of each other, and do that on both sides. So next we're going to go to the other side of where you placed down the chests, and this is where things kind of come out from the original design, like I had mentioned. And you're going to take your stone brick blocks, and you're just going to place 4 of them stacked up in a square right behind your chests. Then you're going to take your ornate sandstone block, and you are going to place 2 of those on either side. Then we're going to take our decorative block and place that above. So you should have it look like this right now. Then you're going to take your sandstone stairs and come over here to the side and place your stairs so that it is facing the L shape off to the right, and do it again so that it's facing off to the left on the other side. And then at the very top, you're going to repeat the process, completely covering up the visible areas for your chests. And then just for a little extra decoration, take 2 more stairs and just place them next to each other on the bottom. And this is what everything should look like in the end. And then just repeat this process on the other side. And the last thing we're going to do with this little side area here is we're going to take our sandstone slabs and come to the very center area where we've got this little gap. And you're just going to place 3 slabs down on each side. This will kind of shorten the entrance area a little bit and make it look a little bit more polished. Repeat this process on the other side. And now it's time to build the stairs up. So, starting from your front area, you're going to come back to your middle doorway on the side, and then you are going to place down your first set of white sandstone stairs right here next to where you had placed that sandstone slab just a moment ago. And that's going to be facing toward the back of your building. And you can place the next set of stairs right above that, and the next above that, the next above that, and so on, taking you all the way up to the top. Then you're going to reverse your steps, and you're going to place these upside down sandstone blocks right behind in the little gaps. Right here, and right here. You're going to do it 3 times. And on this bottom block here, you're going to put a full white sandstone brick block. That's going to make your stairs look like this. Repeat the process on the other side. Next, you're going to temporarily place a block just to the left and 1 tile behind your last set of stairs. Doesn't matter what block you use. We're going to break it in just a second. And you're going to place 1 more staircase down. And then also don't forget to place your upside down one underneath that. And then you can break the block that's on the side. Your goal is to have your stairs going up 1 tile above everything else. And then you can place another white sandstone block right behind that. And repeat this process on the other side. Now, once you've got your sandstone brick going 1 tile above where we currently have everything placed, you're then going to start filling out your second floor. And we're going to start by placing white sandstone brick blocks going down next to each other, coming along the entire front part of our second floor. And then when you reach the stairs here, you are going to skip. So starting here next to your first set of stairs, we're going to go 1, 2, 4, 5, and on the 6th block, I'm going to place a brick block down, and then we'll place another one down, and we can destroy this temporary one. So this should create a gap here at the top of about 4 blocks. So you've got 1, I'll just create them and destroy them. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your stairs. So this is the gap that we're trying to create to give you room to go up and down the stairs. Then just go ahead and continue creating your floor, going all the way around the entire base. And make sure that you leave that same gap that you had on the other side. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's number 5. So we destroy all of those. And this should be what it looks like right now. We're going to go in 1 tile, and we're going to place another whole row of white sandstone brick going in a square around the entire thing. And this should line up perfectly where your crops are. So now, at this point, directly below should be the very first crop tile. And along this outer edge, we're going to take our regular sandstone brick and just go ahead and place a single layer of brick down across the entire thing. So at this point, this is what the second floor of your farm should look like. Next, you're going to want to grab your dirt tiles. Now, I'm using grass tiles, but dirt tiles are easier to get. So you can use dirt, no problem. Just create a single line of your dirt tiles on each edge. Then skip 1 and do 2. Skip 1 and do 2. Skip 1 and do 2. And then just fill it in, going all the way down. At this point, you should now have your second set of farmable land available, but we've got to fill in this little gap here for where our water is going to go. Now, again, if this is a point where water no longer matters for being next to tiles for farming, then you can just fill all of this in with dirt tiles, and it'll make doing the next step a whole lot easier. Now, at the time that I'm recording this, water tiles kind of seep through everything except for full tile blocks. So we're just going to place a temporary block right next to where we want to place our ground, essentially, that's going to hold our water. And then I'm using sandstone bricks. I'm just going to fill in one tile below so that I have room. If I come up here, I essentially have this space here now that I can put all of this water safely. And then we can just break the unnecessary block and repeat the process for all of the gaps. All right, so at this point, we have got full tile stone brick blocks giving us trenches for water, and we've got all of our dirt blocks above us. But we want to make this area kind of look a little pretty. So let's do that. Now, if you're not using water blocks, then this whole thing can just be done with sandstone slabs. You can just fill all of it in with sandstone slabs and be done with it. You're fine. But since I am using the water here, I want this to look a little nicer. So instead, I'm going to take sandstone brick stairs and I'm going to place them upside down so that they go down along the length of each one of these trenches. Then once you've done that, come down to the end pieces and place down an end piece on each block. Then once you've got all of those end pieces down, put in your corner pieces and make sure that they adjust themselves appropriately. And if not, you'll need to hit the R key, or when this comes on console, whatever the console button is for it. I honestly don't know what that will be. And make sure that the stairs are upside down like they're supposed to, and only creating that one little tiny block piece for a corner. And just fill in all of your end pieces. Repeat the process on the other side until you have got everything nice and pretty and looking essentially like this. And then finally, you will fill in the rest of the gaps with sandstone slabs. You're essentially covering up all of the white sandstone from down below with the regular sandstone, so that you're only seeing the white sandstone from up above while you're on the second floor. And it gives you this nice little border of white ornate sandstone going around the top. When you're done, the whole area should look like this. And your second floor should look like this, with the white sandstone going along the edge. You've got the same set of dirt patches that you had before, and all of it has a nice trench that you can easily fill with water. So at this point, you're going to want to fill this with water, just like you did on the first floor. And again, if you don't need water on the sides, then just fill it with dirt and don't worry about it. Now, we do want to add some lighting down here, but you'll notice that the hanging lanterns, they don't hang very well on half blocks. So we need to make a few little adjustments. So first thing you want to do is, if you have a slab right above the doorway areas, just go ahead and break those out and put in full blocks next to them. Now this makes it a lot easier to place a lantern right above your doorways. And also in the back area on the opposite side of where the chests are, in this gap at the top of our archway, we can place another lighting source, and we can do it again here in this gap. Just repeat the process on the other side. And this does improve the lighting, but we've still got some dark areas over by this chest and over by this chest. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to break out another sandstone block. And what you're going to do is you're going to come to the edge and come in one, so that it should be on the tile above one of your chests. In this case, it's the left side of the chest. On this side, it's the right side of the chest. So it just depends on what side you're on. And go ahead and put in a full block there as well. And then you can place down your lanterns, and that helps the look tremendously. Finally, we need a little bit of light in the middle also. So starting from your two lanterns in the front, we're going to start one tile in front of them, and we're going to come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then on the next block over, we're going to place a lantern. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only a gap of 5 here this time. So you're going to also want to place another one next to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you have 2 lanterns right here in the middle. Now, technically, though, they are not in the middle, though. They are kind of in the middle, but the middle for this is really like a 4 square area. So what we're also going to do is we're going to break out these 2 brick stair blocks that are next to it, place down 2 more full bricks, and 2 more lanterns. Now, I do kind of want this to look a little nicer from a ceiling standpoint. So break out all of the bricks that are directly connected. That's going to basically be all of these 6. And we're going to replace them. Because as you can see this time, the look is a little different. Just rotate your blocks until you get the look that you're looking for. And you can fill these here with just straight blocks if you want. Fill these 2 in, and then we can actually get rid of these 2. And this puts us right in the middle. Now this is purely optional, but I kind of like the way it looks, is on these little side lantern areas here that we just created. If we tear out all of these half slabs and replace them with stairs, you can just put in your upside down stairs at each one of these points and then put in the corner pieces as well. And you've got a pretty nice looking little dip here that just makes this lantern look a little nicer. And just repeat the process on the other side as well. Sometimes the bricks will change a little bit like this. And if they do, then you may have to finagle with it a little bit as they're trying to connect to each other. And sometimes they just really want to connect, and sometimes they're a little bit more generous and they aren't going to connect as much. So if you get one of these blocks where it does that, just break and replace, and it should eventually work for you. Now we're going to have a little bit of a repeat of what we did on the first floor. A little different though. First, you're going to place down along each corner 1 ornate sandstone block. Then on the side that is 16 wide, so this will be the side where your stairs are, you're going to skip 2, and on the 3rd tile, you're going to place another ornate block. Then you're going to skip 1, place another ornate sandstone block. Then you're going to skip 4, place another one, skip 1, place another one, and that should leave you a gap of 2 when you reach the edge. Switch over to your decorative blocks and place that 2 high. And then for your 4th tile, you're going to switch back to the ornate block and place down another ornate block on top of all of your decorative blocks. And repeat this process on both sides. So next you'll come over to the section here where you've only got 1 gap between your 2 little pillar walls. And you're going to place a sandstone brick pillar base. And you're going to do that on all 4 of them. Then you're going to flip that sandstone pillar base upside down and place that in between your 2 large pillars here so that you're creating this kind of window. Do that on all 4. Then grab your sandstone brick beam and place that in the 2 tile open space, giving you a nice contrasting pillar design. Next, grab your white sandstone pillar base, and on the inner part of the wall here where we've got this gap of 4, you're going to place one of your white sandstone pillar bases along either edge. Flip the pillar base upside down, do it again, repeat the process on the other side. Then once you have both bases down, take your white sandstone brick beams and complete the pillars that we're building. Then you're going to take your white sandstone walls and you're going to place that in the 2 tile gap in the middle, filling that in completely. Should look like this when you are done. Make sure that you repeat this process on the other side as well. Now for our front and back sections, what we're going to do is we're going to start here at the corner. We're going to skip 2 and place a pillar block. Then we're going to skip 2 and place another sandstone pillar block. Then we're going to skip 4 and place another sandstone pillar block. Skip 2 and place another one. Repeat this process on the other side. Once you've done that, then you're going to go ahead and place another 2 sandstone pillar blocks on the inner part of your 4 gap. So it should look like this. Next, take your sandstone brick beam, and you're going to make that go 2 high, and you're going to do that on your first 2 pillars. Then you're going to skip these 2 inner pillars that we created and do it again on the next 2 pillars. On your 2 inner pillars that you have here, you're going to take your sandstone cobble walls, and you're going to place down 2 of them and make sure that the top part of the cobble pillar is facing the proper direction. And repeat this process on both sides. Now the tile that you use next will be determined by what looks like on the front area here. So for this side in the front, we have got our sandstone brick walls. So in the middle here, where all my sandstone brick walls are on the first floor, we're going to place more sandstone brick walls here on the second floor. You're just going to place down 6 of them. On the opposite side, you're going to place down white sandstone brick walls in the exact same spot. And once you've got that done on both sides, then we are going to put on our pillar tops. So make sure you flip your pillar top upside down, and you're going to place that on top of all of your small stone brick beams, as well as on top of the cobble, so that it should look like this. Finish it off on the top here with 2 more of the appropriate wall, whether it's white sandstone or regular sandstone. And in the end, both sides should look either like this or like this. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to create like a little cap line across the whole thing. Grab your white decorative sandstone, and you're going to place a whole row of that along the top. And you're going to extend this out across your entire farm. When you're done, the farm should look like this. Next, grab your sandstone cobble walls, and we are going to use these as kind of like railings, I guess you could call it, and just place it between each of your pillars, going around the entire circumference of your farm. All right, now that we've pretty much finished the second floor here, you're going to want to go up a little bit. So let's just place down a temporary block, climb up to the top here, and using white sandstone brick, we're going to place down another layer along the edge here. So just cover all of these white ornates on the top with white sandstone brick. Now we need to make some stairs up to the 3rd floor. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up here to where you've got your gap that you left for your stairs. You're going to grab your white stone brick stairs, and on the opposite side of where your stairs come up from the 1st to 2nd floor, so right here, we're going to leave a single gap and then rotate our stair so that it is heading up toward the far side of the wall there, and build up. Once you've got all of the steps that are leading up to the next floor, do your reverse area that you did before with upside down steps. Then the final block at the bottom is just a white stone brick block. At the top will also be a single white sandstone brick block. So everything should look just like this. Repeat the process on the other side. Now that you've got your 3rd floor stairs, we're going to go ahead and take white sandstone brick and create a 2nd layer going around the entire farm of just white sandstone brick. Be sure to leave a gap here of about 4 bricks. You can see marked by this regular sandstone. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And then we continue on with our flooring made out of white sandstone. All right, so next what you're going to do is you are going to create one more white stone brick layer with your white sandstone. So go ahead and place another set of white sandstone brick, just going in a circle all around the flooring for the third floor here. And this should completely cover up and set up where your stairs are located. Once this is done, we're going to take our ornate white sandstone brick and do another circle around the entire farm with this nice, pretty, flowery brick. And then finally, you're going to fill in the rest of the space up here with grass blocks. Now, you could use dirt blocks, but we're going to turn this area up here on the third floor into a bit of a garden, and I'm going to put a chicken coop up here. So I want my chickens on grass, even though they are just fine on the dirt. But this just makes it look a little bit nicer. So next we're going to put in some spots for trees. So if you come up to where your stairs are here, go to the opposite side of where your stairs come up. And then we're going to skip 2 blocks. And we're going to break this block. And this is on the same row as the stairs. And we're going to skip 2. We're going to break another one. Then you're going to skip 3, break another one. Then we're going to, over at the top here, we're going to kind of skip 1. It's weird. You're going to go up 1, you're going to go left 2. So it should look kind of like this, where you've got 1 hole here, you've got 2 blocks, then you've got another hole here. Then you're going to want to skip 3. 1, 2, 3. Break another one. Then skip 2. Break another one. Then skip 3. Break another one. And then you'll be in the same pattern as you were before, where you can place another one, basically 2 and only 1 away. Then you're going to skip 3 on this edge here and break another one. So that should give you the same pattern going all the way around with all of these blocks. Then over here on the far end, so starting from the block right beyond the stairs themselves, we'll put this block down temporarily just as a visual. You're then going to come over 2, just kind of like this, and break 1. So this hole should essentially be right here, just a little bit off from where the stairs come up. If it helps, it should also be on the same line that you have your first line of the flowery decorative blocks. So then what you'll do is you'll skip 3, 1, 2, 3, break 1, skip 2, then break 1 again, and that should give you a gap of 3 before your final edge piece. So ultimately, we should have quite a few broken spots here. Fill each one of these spots in with a grass block. Ultimately, you're going to be planting trees in all of these spots here. All right, next what we're going to do is we're going to place a white sandstone pillar base in all 4 of our corners. All right, so coming over to the front area here, and we know it's the front because it's got one of the overhangs, and it doesn't matter if it's the front or the back, but either way, what you're going to do is you're going to skip 3 blocks, and then on the 4th block, you're going to place a white sandstone brick block. And do that again on the other side as well. And then in the middle here, you are going to place, skipping 2 blocks. On the 3rd block, you're going to place a white sandstone brick pillar. Skip 2, place another pillar. This should give you another gap of 2. These pillars are going to be a little shorter than the ones we've been making in the past. You're actually only going to put 1 of the white beams onto each one of these. And then you will put a flipped pillar base onto each one as well to cap it off. So these are only 3 high instead of 4 high. Now for these middle areas with the sandstone brick, what we're going to do is we're going to place 2 more. So we've got a 3 high set of bricks here. Then you're going to take the stairs, place them upside down along each side so that you have this kind of like little T-shaped structure. and then just repeat this process on the other side. Now for the two sides here, what we're going to do is we are going to skip 2, and then on the third block, we're going to place a white sandstone block. Then we're going to skip 2, and on the third one, we're going to place a pillar. Skip 2, place another block. Skip 2, place another block. You're going to go 3 high on all the block sections, and you will create your pillar the same way you did before. Sit with one of the sandstone brick beams, followed by a reversed pillar base. And then put your stairs on as well for both of these, right at the top. And that's what it should look like. Repeat the process on the other side. Now, because I actually really like asymmetry in my designs, I kind of flipped the placing on this. So you'll notice that on this side, I've got my 2 brick pillars here, but on the other side, they're over here. So it creates kind of like a mirrored symmetry kind of look. But it's something I really like. I don't like it when everything looks exactly the same, especially when you've got like a square kind of design. I just think it really breaks things up and makes it look a little bit more natural, a little bit more realistic if you change up some of the symmetry. Next, we're going to take this white sandstone cobble wall and you're going to place it in the gap areas along all of the edges, creating a railing system around the entire farm. Now, coming back down to the second floor, I want to create a little bit of a lighting setup because we've also got to fill in all of the ceiling area here. So standing in the very middle of the farm, which is this double spaced area here, what we're going to do is I am going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on block 7 and block 8, I'm going to put down some full brick blocks. And then I'm going to do it again next to it. And I'm going to make sure that both of these bricks are completely over this ground section in the very center. So these 4 are essentially the middle blocks of this floor. And we can just go ahead and grab our lamps and place all 4 lamps down. And we are good on that front. At this point, you're going to want to surround it with some upside down sandstone brick stairs, and then just finish off the corner pieces so that everything looks really nice. And you can now fill the rest of this area here with sandstone half slabs. Personally, I recommend leaving the ornate bricks that are above exposed, just so that you have a little bit more depth to your ceiling. But if you want to cover all of this up with your sandstone slabs, feel free to do so. And the last piece of major construction that we have on the building itself is actually down closer to the first floor. We're going to take some stone brick steps, and we're going to place them upside down, and we're going to place them along the outer edge between the first and second floor above the white sandstone decorative blocks. So we're going to be covering up all of this exposed sandstone brick that is between the first and second floor. And just place down this edge going around the whole thing. And you can even fill in the corners. Make sure the appropriate corner tile appears. And at this point, all of the main construction of the building is completed. Now what we need to do is fill in the decorations and just kind of make it look like an actual hanging gardens. There are a lot of options at this point with what you can do. We've got the green moss rug, the wall ivy, the liana end pieces, which I believe are also just called vines, the vine rug, ivy. We've got vines, green hanging moss, yellow moss. And then there are some plants that you can pick up like lavender and a few others that you can use as part of your decoration. Now, if you have access to creative mode, then you have access to more plant-like stuff right now. So I'm hopeful that the game adds more ways for you to get your hands on things like jungle ferns or bushy orange ferns. I don't know if you can get the pink camellias or the cyan flowers, but they work really well if you can grab them. The tall red Rafflesias, these look really cool, and you can find them down in the dinosaur area. I don't know how to get palm leaves or green wall moss or papyrus reeds or river reeds or any of this without creative mode. So if you have access to creative mode on your world, these look really, really nice with this build, but you may not have it available to you. So standing up on this new ledge that we created, I'm currently in the front of my base, but you can be on the back as well. Doesn't really matter. You're going to place a planter in both corners. And then when you come into these pillared sections here, you're going to place a planter on the interior pillars. The exterior pillars, you're going to place a statue. Now, these statues can be found in some of the windswept and sand temples down underground, as well as just around in the desert area. So if you don't have any of these statues, you can use different statues, or you can just skip the statues altogether. And then repeat this look on the opposite side as well. And when you're on the sides, right in between the regular sandstone pillars, you're going to put a couple of planters also. And just repeat that process on the other side. Then we're going to fill in all of the gaps here with full grass. Now you can also use full moss, or I think there's a full red moss as well. I think there's like an azure colored one that you can use. There are some different options for the various colors. I'm only using the generic full grass, but you don't have to. You can mix and match to whatever you think looks best for you and your build. So at this point, you should have a nice ledge of greenery going around the entire area between the first and second floor. Back down on the first floor, we're going to come over to the pillars by the front and back, and we're going to go out 2 in front of them and place a planter on the third tile in front of each one of these pillars, and repeat that process on the other side as well. Then we're going to cap off both of these planters with sandstone braziers. On the first floor in the front area, right by where we've got our chests, we're going to come to this set of pillars, and I'm going to place down a farmer's workbench. And then on the other side, I'm placing down a chef's stove. Over the chef's table, I've got a bookshelf, and I'm going to place 2 of these bookshelves. And then I'm going to place a third shelf that is empty just over on the side. Underneath it, I am putting a lumberjack shelf as well. So we've got 2 full bookshelves, 1 empty simple shelf, and a lumberjack shelf underneath it. Then over here by our farmer's workbench, I'm just placing 2 wooden lumberjack shelves up high for decoration. On the second floor here, I've got several sand-swept torches, and I'm going to place 1 of them next to each one of my pillars here in the front area, and do it again in the back area, giving me some light. And then I'm also going to go ahead and put some sand-swept torches in 2 of the corners, the ones in the back, to give myself a little extra lighting back there. Then back up on the third floor, we've still got more of these braziers, and I'm just going to place some of them up on the top area. Now, it doesn't matter exactly where you put them. I'm just kind of putting some down randomly. I don't want there to be like too many. Maybe like between 1 and 2 on each side, and that's about it. And like I said, the exact positioning doesn't really matter. You can put them wherever it feels most comfortable for you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to place down some fencing. Now I'm using goldenwood fencing, but it doesn't really matter what type of fence that you use. And I'm just going to place this fence around the entire grassy area here. And then each corner is going to get a lantern. And in the middle, we place a chicken coop. Technically, you could probably fit 2 chicken coops in here if you wanted. There is enough room for it. But if you don't want the hassle of dealing with 2 chicken coops, then you don't have to put 2 chicken coops down. It really depends on you, but this can definitely fit 2, possibly even 3, depending on how you want to put them down. I'm just going to use 1. And while you don't need to feed the chickens right now, I like to put a couple of hay bales in here just for general decorative appearances. On all of the grass tiles that are outside of the farm on the 3rd floor, go ahead and place down an apple sapling. Now, at the time of this recording, the apple saplings, when they grow up into full trees, they will sometimes break some of the blocks that are right next to them. So keep an eye out for that, because you might find that some of your exterior stonework here, or maybe even your braziers, get destroyed because of the trees. If that happens, you'll need to either replace them or just accept the fact that they're gone. Hopefully that will change, and hopefully by the time you're watching this, the trees won't interfere when they grow anymore, but at the moment, they do. So keep that in mind if you come up here and you're suddenly like, why are all my braziers missing? Well, maybe because your trees destroyed them. Now, the rest of your decorations on this are going to vary depending on whether you have access to creative mode or you're just in survival mode, and how many resources you have, things like that. What I recommend doing is I recommend crafting as much moss, yellow moss, vine ends, vine pieces, wall ivy, regular ivy, green moss rugs, vine rugs, and dry vines, as well as green hanging moss and yellow hanging moss. Make as much of that as you can. If you can find pink camellias, these are great. If you've got some cyan flowers, some lavender, really just start finding and collecting whatever plants you can get your hands on. And if you're able to get your hands on palm leaves or orange ferns, jungle ferns, wall moss, papyrus reeds, etc. Same thing. Again, if you have creative mode, you'll have access to ancient pots, ancient sacks, simple wooden crates, and clay pots, which at the time of the recording this, you can't pick any of this stuff up and take it around with you. I'm hoping that changes and that it gets to a point where we can actually either craft crates or clay pots ourselves, or we can actually take the ones that exist in the world and bring them places. If you do get to that point where you have access to all of these, then I recommend using all of it. But now what we're really just doing is we're covering all of the outer parts that we can with bits of ivy, with moss, with vines, with whatever we can to just make this look like it is a giant garden. And you can even stack some on top of each other, like the ivy will continue to dangle down a couple of levels or even more. If you're on like a wall such as this, you can just get 3 sets of ivy going down. You can even layer it a bit, and you can put some of the vines behind the ivy to just give it a little bit of a better look. Make sure you vary things up a bit, vary up the colors, vary up the placement. Don't put too much of any one type in one spot. You just want to keep it kind of loose and flowing to make the whole thing feel organic. The grass blocks will allow pretty much any of the plants to be placed upon them, but the planters only allow certain plants to be placed in them. So you can't put everything into the planters. You could also, if you wanted to, you could put more braziers onto the planters just to give yourself a little bit more of that cool lighting effect. And you're just going to place all of this stuff down in random areas until you're pretty much happy with how overgrown the area looks. You don't have to leave just the exterior part overgrown. You can also place some of your vines along the interior sections. Just be careful about placing it along your stairways, because you can climb some of these vines, and so you don't want to get caught on the vines while you're trying to go up and down the stairs. It creates a little chaos. And of course, on the farms itself, you'll just till the ground with one of your hoes, and place down whatever seeds you have, whether it's eternal seeds, regular seeds, doesn't matter, whatever point your garden is at. And that will get your garden going. In the end, you will end up with a rather lush garden area, just full of vines, plants, trees, whatever you need to just kind of make this thing look overgrown. And again, if you have access to the creative mode options, you can also fill in a bunch of crates, barrels, and other things that you wouldn't normally have access to in survival mode. And putting the vines on the inside, like I said, also really helps with that look. And there you have it, folks. This is our Hanging Gardens triple layer farm with 2 rows of farming areas and a third floor that has nothing but ranch space for your cattle. And just so that you can see an example that was done entirely in survival mode, this is like the very first version of this farm that I ever made. And I did this in quartzite instead of sandstone. I think sandstone looks a little bit better. But you can just see where I have all the vines, all the various mosses, etc. And you can use these as examples for how you put your vines and your greenery down, because it doesn't have to look exactly the same as mine. I just kind of place it all down randomly with whatever looks good for me. Take whatever works best for you into account and build up all of your greenery around your farm with whatever you think looks good. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe so you don't miss out on any future build videos, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay crazy, everybody.